Anytime you see a recipe that ends with Fra Diavolo, you know you're in for a treat. You get linguine or spaghetti all bathed in a seafood sauce that's spicy, briny, tomatoey, so good. Now, it can be a real bear to make at home, and that's even if you're not using bear, but seafood. And Ashley's here. She's going to show us a great seafood Fra Diavolo that we can make at home.
Yes, absolutely. And best of all, it's a one-pan recipe.
Awesome.
So it's definitely one of those recipes that I never really did think to make it at home, because by the time I seek out the seafood and prepare it, I feel like restaurants would do it better until I made this recipe.
Okay.
It is super packed with flavor and it's very easy to put together. So naturally, let's start with the seafood. I've got some scallops, some shrimp, and some mussels. But these aren't just any scallops. These are what's called dry scallops. And I have 12 ounces here. The difference between dry and wet scallops, the dry scallops have not been treated with chemical additives and the wet ones have. So if you do see a difference at your seafood counter, you want to make sure to get the dry ones.
Okay.
And these are a beautiful size. These are what's called the tendon. Other people call them the foot. Same difference. It's just what attaches itself to the interior of the shell. It can get tough, so what I like to do is I like to just peel it off. And for this recipe, one of the things I love about it is that everybody gets a good amount of seafood in each bowl. And that's because we're doing things like this, cutting the scallops in half crosswise. So there's no fighting in my house over the scallops. All right, now I have 12 ounces of the scallops. I also have 12 ounces of 2125 shrimp here. And I've gone ahead and peeled, deveined, and taken the tails off of most of them except for the two. So I'm going to transfer them in here because they're all going to hang out together in the fridge in a little bit.
Okay, great.
Now we have a few ways of shelling, deveining, and peeling shrimp, but one of my favorite ways is to use shrimp shears.
Very smart.
Thank you.
Sometimes you don't find any veins on your shrimp, but sometimes jackpot.
I just peeled off the feet and the shell. Now, as I said, these are going to hang out in the fridge for a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some oil, some garlic, and some salt. So that is 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 3 minced garlic cloves, and finally a half a teaspoon of salt. Just toss it all together. All right, now let's talk about shellfish.
Show me your muscles, Ashley. Yes, there you go.
Some of them have been debearded and cleaned and scrubbed. But a few of them, I wanted to show you just some of the beards that have been left behind.
Yes.
So what you want to do is just using a paring knife, holding this in your opposite hand, just go through and tug away that beard.
They're squeaking.
I know. Now, especially with clams and mussels, if you do find that they have opened up slightly in the fridge, try and give them a tap or try to close them. Give it a little time. Sometimes it takes a little while. I need to make sure it is still alive before we cook it.
Right.
So I'm going to just tap it gently. Hi. And if he's closing up slowly, which it looks like he is, then he's good to keep. But if it stays open, you want to discard that because that means it's not alive and we don't want to cook it.
Great.
Now we're going to add those in a little bit.
Okay.
But first I'm going to put our scallops and shrimp into the fridge until we're ready to add them to our recipe.
Okay.
Now, I mentioned it's a one-pan meal that we're building here today. So I'm going to start to build the sauce in this beautiful Dutch oven right here. I have 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil heating up over medium heat.
Okay.
And I'm going to add 3 anchovies.
That's part of that savory.
Oh yeah, lots of umami going on in there. And 4 minced garlic cloves.
All right.
I am going to go in with a wooden spoon and just break up the anchovies. And anchovies are one of my favorite things to put in any kind of tomato sauce, even if there's no seafood, because it, as you said, gives it a really great savoriness, and they also kind of just disappear into the sauce.
They do. They almost dissolve.
So I'm going to cook this for about 3 minutes until the garlic begins to brown.
Okay.
So you can see the garlic is just beginning to brown. So now I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of some tomato paste, and 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, and red pepper flakes, because Fra Diavolo.
It's got to have a little fire to it.
Exactly.
How much?
This is actually 1.5 teaspoons, but if you don't love spice, you can back off on that a little bit. So I'm going to cook this for 2 more minutes until the tomato paste starts to darken. So beautiful.
It just gets better and better.
All right, so that was 2 minutes, and as you can see, the tomato paste is turning nice and dark red. And now I'm gonna add some white wine. I've got 1 cup of white wine, and I'm gonna first increase the heat to medium-high, and we're gonna deglaze the pan at this point. Just going in there just to kind of loosen up any brown bits that may have been at the bottom of the pot. But I'm also gonna add our mussels. Again, that's 1 pound. Give it a good stir, and then I'm gonna cover and cook the mussels until they open, which should take 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
All right, let's check on the mussels. Ooh. Hey, we just said the same thing at
Yes, we
Jinx. You owe me some mussels.
Yeah, you owe me some mussels. Oh my goodness. They're open and ready to go.
Ready to go. Now, if there are any mussels in here that haven't opened, it's best to discard them because that means they weren't alive prior to cooking. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to add all the mussels into this bowl, and we're gonna add these back into the dish once we're closer to eating because
Okay.
they're already cooked at this point.
Right.
Just gonna put a little plastic on that to cover just so they stay warm. Now, one of my favorite tricks. We've got a 28-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes. I don't know about you, but I have tried so many times to crush these by hand, channeling my inner Nona, but I've always ended up with splatter, tomato splatter all over my walls. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna use this potato masher and go in there and mash the tomatoes that way.
Very smart. And you're using whole tomatoes here because it's the right ratio of tomato solids to liquid. Whereas if you buy a can of crushed tomatoes, there's a lot more solid tomatoes in there.
Absolutely, yep. And then I have 8 ounces of clam juice, which is just gonna help reinstate that clam flavor.
Clamtastic.
Clamtastic. And finally, a 1/4 teaspoon of more salt.
Okay.
So I'm gonna finish mashing the tomatoes, and I'm gonna increase the heat to medium-high, bring this to a boil. All right, now I'm going to add our pasta. I have 12 ounces, not 1 pound, 12 ounces of linguine pasta. So I'm gonna add this directly into the sauce. And then using some tongs, I'm just gonna go in there just to kind of get all the noodles submerged. Now you don't wanna cook the pasta fully at this point. You wanna cook this about 2 minutes shy of what the cooking instructions say to do on the box. So we're about 5 minutes into the cooking here, and you can see it needs a little bit more liquid. So I have some hot water on hand, and for this recipe, you wanna add about 1/2 cup of hot water at a time, because you can always add more, but you can never take away. And just make sure it's still submerged in the liquid, because as that pasta cooks, the starch gets released, and then the sauce is gonna thicken. Now we're at that point 2 minutes shy of al dente. So you can see it does have a little bit of pliability. So because the scallops and the shrimp are really quick cooking, we're gonna add them now at the end. And you know that the scallops and shrimp are cooked when they turn opaque.
Okay.
Again, that'll be about 2 to 3 minutes. We made it.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah. I'm gonna add just a few more things. I have a good amount of chopped fresh parsley. It's 1/2 cup. And now I have 2 tablespoons of chopped hot cherry peppers, plus a little bit of the brine.
Absolutely. It's definitely part of Fra Diavolo.
And our mussels from earlier. And then if there's any juice that is kind of collected at the bottom of the bowl, don't leave any of it behind. All right, now turn that heat off, because everything is done cooking at this point. Yeah,
Gosh.
I know. All right, let me just taste for seasoning real quick. Oh.
Literally, my mouth is watering.
I'm gonna do a little twirl for you.
A little food stylist in action here.
Do you say scallop or scallop?
Depends on how much I paid for it.
Ooh, you got a mussel.
Yes, I do.
It smells like an Italian restaurant here. The best kind of Italian
The
restaurant.
best kind.
And a little extra virgin olive oil to drizzle on top, along with a few more crushed red pepper flakes.
All right. This is stunning. It's actually better than most of the Fra Diavolo dishes that I've had. This is just gorgeous. All right, I am mirroring you. So you're going for a scallop first.
So tender. I barely used a spoon. I just eat the side of a fork.
That was melt in your mouth.
Yeah,
So tender. The pasta absorbed the sauce.
totally. That extra bit of garlic. And it's not raw, even though we did stir it in at the end with the shrimp and with the scallops.
Not raw at all.
Completely transformed.
I'm gonna go for a muskell.
Yeah, me too.
Gorgeous.
This is so delicious. The acidity too, from the brine and the cherry peppers that we stirred in at the end.
This is a very, very special seafood Fra Diavolo. And a special person made it for me, so thank you.
Thank you.
If you want to try this absolutely gorgeous seafood dish at home, toss shrimp and scallops with garlic, stagger the cooking of the seafood, and cook the pasta right in the sauce. So from Cook's Country, the very best thing to come out of one pot, seafood Fra Diavolo.